What if the very first fruit tree most people plant is actually one of the least efficient for the amount of effort it demands? Apple trees became the default not because they outperform everything else, but because they're familiar. It's what people recognize. But when you look at it from a grower's perspective, that trade-off doesn't really hold up. Apples require constant attention, pruning, spraying, pest control, and even then you might wait years before seeing a meaningful harvest. Here's what often gets missed. There are at least 10 fruit trees that consistently outperform apples in real-world conditions, not just in theory, but in actual yield resilience and long-term reliability. And these aren't obscure or exotic plants. Many of them have supported human diets for centuries. They've just quietly fallen out of focus. Stay with me, because tree number 9 on this list was once productive enough to sustain entire communities, and another tree here can produce over 300 pounds of fruit in a single season. Before we start, what time are you watching this video? And where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. You might just find people in your city who share the same mindset and lifestyle goals as you. 10. Mulberry, the high-yield giant. Mulberry is in a completely different category when it comes to production. A single mature mulberry tree can produce anywhere from 300 to over 600 pounds of fruit in one season. That's not over multiple years, that's in a single harvest cycle. And what's surprising is how little effort it requires to reach that level. Mulberry trees grow well in a wide range of climates and soil conditions. Once established, they need very little care, no regular spraying, minimal pruning, and they tolerate heat and drought better than most fruit trees. Instead of ripening all at once, the fruit matures gradually over 6 to 8 weeks. That gives you a longer harvest period and reduces waste. The berries taste like a mix between blackberry and honey sweet soft, and easy to use for fresh eating jams or even drying. Pest and disease problems are rare, especially compared to apple trees. In practical terms, this means one thing. If your goal is maximum fruit with minimum effort, mulberry is one of the most efficient trees you can plant. 9. Asian pear, the apple without the problems. If you like the crisp bite of apples, but hate everything that comes with growing them, this is where things get interesting. Asian pears have been cultivated for thousands of years, especially across East Asia. But unlike apples, they were selected for consistency, not perfection. A mature Asian pear tree can produce around 150 to 300 pounds of fruit per year. And more importantly, it reaches that stage faster, usually within 3 to 4 years, compared to 5 to 7 years for apples. The fruit is crisp like an apple, but juicier, almost refreshing, in a way apples rarely are. Here's the practical advantage: far fewer pest and disease problems. That means less spraying, less monitoring, and a much lower chance of losing your entire harvest. There's a story many growers share. They plant apples and Asian pears at the same time. A few years later, the apples are struggling spots on leaves, insects, inconsistent yield. Meanwhile, the Asian pear tree next to it is quietly producing baskets of clean, healthy fruit. Plant 2 varieties for better pollination, give it sunlight, and thin the fruit early, and it will reward you for decades. If apples feel like constant work, Asian pear feels like the result you expected all along. 8. Jujube, the tree that thrives on neglect. This tree has been called the poor man's fruit for a reason, not because it's low quality, but because almost anyone can grow it. Jujube trees have been cultivated in China for over 4,000 years, and they didn't survive that long by being delicate. They thrive in heat, they tolerate drought, they grow in poor soil where most fruit trees would struggle or fail completely. A mature tree can produce around 40 to 100 pounds of fruit per year with minimal watering once established. The fruit is unique. When fresh, it tastes like a sweet, crisp apple. When dried, it becomes chewy and rich, similar to dates. Here's where the story gets interesting. There are growers who plant jujube trees and essentially ignore them. No fertilizers, no special care, barely any watering. And yet year after year, the tree continues to produce. No major pests, no serious diseases, no constant intervention. Most varieties are self-fertile, so you only need one tree to get fruit. If you're dealing with harsh conditions, or you simply don't want a high-maintenance garden, jujube is one of the most reliable fruit trees you can plant. 7. Elderberry, the functional fruit. Long before supplements existed, people relied on this plant. Elderberry has been used across Europe and North America for centuries, not just as food, but as a form of natural support during seasonal illness. Today, elderberry syrup is widely known. But what most people don't realize is how easy it is to grow your own supply. A mature elderberry plant produces around 12 to 15 pounds of berries per year, which can be turned into multiple batches of syrup juice or preserves. It grows in a wide range of climates and has one unique advantage: it tolerates wet soil. Areas where most fruit trees would fail are exactly where elderberry can thrive. It establishes quickly, often producing within 2 years, and requires little to no spraying. There is one important detail: the berries must be cooked before consumption. Raw elderberries can cause stomach discomfort, but once prepared properly, they become both safe and highly versatile. Many growers share a similar experience. They plant elderberry as an experiment, and a few seasons later, it becomes one of the most used plants in their garden. Not because it's trendy, but because it works. What time are you watching this video, and where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. You might find people in your city who share the same mindset and lifestyle. 6. Pawpaw, the hidden tropical. This might be the most unusual fruit on the list and one of the most overlooked. Pawpaw is native to North America, yet most people have never tasted it. The reason is simple: it doesn't ship well, so you almost never see it in stores. But here's what growers know. A mature pawpaw tree produces around 25 to 50 pounds of fruit per year. The flavor is unlike anything else you can grow in a temperate climate: soft, creamy, with notes of banana, mango, and vanilla. And the story behind it adds another layer. Early American figures like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were known